All right, Echo. Echo is Marvel's newest Marvel TV series. And we're going to talk about it. The first episode of Echo. We get a flashback that shows the origins of, I believe, like Maya's ancestors. They like come out of the ground of dirt on them. I'm not really sure what was happening, but anyways. The episode starts off when we're in 2007. We are watching a young Maya Lopez, and she is playing with her cousin. Her cousin's like her best friend, pretty much. And they come inside, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's raining. We want some hot cocoa. So Maya's mom's like, okay, I'll go get you guys some hot cocoa. Maya, you come with me. Which to me is kind of weird, because when I was a kid, if I was playing with a friend or my cousins or whatever, and my mom was going to go to the store to get us something, she generally would have either brought both of us, or she would have just left us there, because why would you separate two kids who are playing with each other? But while they're on their way to go into the store, they get in a car wreck, and this is because the brakes were cut. And the brakes were cut because Maya's father is involved with some people that are not very good, and to get back at him, they cut the brakes of the car, which leads to the death of Maya's mother. And Maya, she loses her leg because there's like a piece of glass sticking out of her leg or whatever. After this, Maya and her father, they moved to New York because Maya's father got a job as being one of the leaders of this tracksuit mafia there in New York. He moves to New York. It's very sad. He moves to New York with Maya. All right, so Maya grows up and she ends up witnessing Hawkeye assassinate this tracksuit mafia, including her father. This obviously enrages Maya, and she wants revenge. Fisk, who her dad was working for, tells her like, hey, why don't you work for me, and I promise I'm gonna help you find the guy that killed your father. And so on like her first mission, she just goes with these two guys, and she's just gonna like go kill these people. And it's just kind of weird because these people that she's with, these two men, they don't know sign language. I don't think that Maya can read lips. It doesn't really specify. This is episode 1, so I might not be aware of it, but she doesn't appear to. And so they're like going on a mission, and you think that being able to communicate with the person you're with would be kind of beneficial, because they're like, we're going to go in and shoot people, and they're just kind of gesturing to her what they're going to do. That seems a little bit irresponsible. Like, I feel like you should be a little better prepared. There's also this kind of cringy scene. There's like a security guard, and he needs to pat them down. And of course, when it comes to Maya, he has to be a pervert about it, and he like grabs her ass. And then she grabs this guy and pushes him against the wall. And the two men that she's with are like really impressed by this, which I'm not saying that's not like impressive if you can do this, but what I'm saying is these men shouldn't be that impressed by this. Like, she like looks these two men right in the eyes, like, look what I can do. They should expect you to be able to do like basic self-defense moves. A little bit cringy in my opinion, but whatever. We have to show that she was a badass, I guess. All right, so they go in, Maya and these two men, and they just start shooting everybody. I do like the fact that at first Maya is kind of just stunned for a second. Like, she doesn't really know what to do. Like, all of a sudden everyone's shooting and people are dying, and she's kind of just like, oh, I have no idea really what to do. But she finally like snaps out of it, and she ends up like breaking this guy's like spine. Well, during this fight, who is to show up except for Daredevil? And then we get some fighting that's not very good. And what the heck? Why is Maya shooting him right here? Like, where is she aiming? Anyways, so they have this kind of ridiculous fight. He runs off. That's all you ever see him. You'll never see him again in this series. And Fisk, he's like really, really impressed that she held her own against Daredevil. I just find it really weird that Fisk just thinks like, wow, you did such a good job. Anyways, Fisk is like really impressed by her, and then we get a montage of Maya working for Fisk and pretty much being like a hit woman. Maya eventually encounters Hawkeye, and that's when she learns that Fisk is actually the one responsible for her father's death. So she finds Fisk and she shoots him and she runs away. So some months pass and she's on the run, and we see her. She's riding on her motorcycle. She has this horrible gash in her stomach, and she goes back to her hometown in Oklahoma. So when she makes it there, she goes into this house and she like sews herself up with dental floss. And I was just like, don't do that. She's had that gash for who knows how long. Like, you know how much crap has gotten into it? It's been exposed to so much. There's an infection in there and you're sewing it up. Oh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh, but another thing that bothered me is like she sewed herself up, and it's like that thing has to be hurting. And she encounters her cousin Biscuit, which, yeah, that's his name. Oh, and look, it's Bluey. And Biscuit sees her, and that's a dumb name, but he's a nice guy. And it's like, oh my gosh, Maya, and gives her a big hug. And not at one point does she like grimace because the thing on her stomach hurts. Because later on you see her and she's kind of grimacing when she's walking, but I'm like, him coming over to you and grabbing you really hard didn't hurt. Maya tells Biscuit, like, don't tell anybody that I'm here. She doesn't want anybody to know. But she does meet up with her hot uncle, and she asks him if he can help her dismantle Fisk's operations so that she can be the queen, so that she can take over. And her uncle's like, no, I'm not going to bring a war here and get all my family or just the people here in this little town killed. No, hell no, Maya. Like, what is wrong with you? All right, so yeah, she gets rejected by her uncle. And then the last scene in this episode, we see that Fisk wakes up. So he's alive, obviously. I mean, everyone knew he was going to be alive. All right, so this episode went really fast. Like, there was just things that happened, and they happened so quickly. Her father dying and her mother dying, and her joining Fisk, finding out that Fisk killed her father. That all happens so fast, and it kind of just is a little disconcerting. So the actress who plays Maya, I'm going to start off and say something good about her. I like the fact that they picked somebody who isn't teeny tiny, because this girl, she is supposed to be strong and a good fighter and stuff like that. And she definitely is like a taller woman. She's not extremely petite. And that's the one thing that kind of bothers me when I'm watching a movie. They have like these 5-foot women who probably weigh like 100 pounds, soaking wet, and they're just manhandling people. It just looks more realistic when you have a woman who's a little taller, who's a little more in shape. I'll give you an example. Jessica Biel in the third Blade movie. She looked like a woman that could handle herself. She did not look like a little will-o-wisp.
You want to really believe that Abigail kicks ass. You want to really believe that when she goes after 4 or 5 vampires, you believe that this girl could take down several large men. And you believe it of Ryan, and you believe it of Dom, and certainly you've always been able to believe it of Wes.
Compare that to somebody like, think of like Sarah Hyland, who plays Haley in Modern Family, that actress. She's extremely dainty and small. It would look really weird and funny seeing an actress of her size beating up like big men. I mean, it's the same with men too. Like, sometimes they'll have like the tiniest little men like beating up these big guys. And sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't think that's how it works, but okay. But no, I appreciate that. But I will say, this woman, I don't know if it's her acting, I don't know if it's the direction, I don't know if it was both, but she has like 2 facial expressions. And that's not good, considering the fact that she is a mute character and she needs to act with her expressions 100% all the time. And she has 2 facial expressions, and it's she's bored or she smelled something weird. Like, those are her 2 facial expressions in the whole episode. No offense to this actress, because it might not be her fault, but this isn't working for this character. It's hard to like this character when I have no idea how she feels. She always just looks bored. Other than that, a lot of the other actors do a really good job. We're going to see how it goes. This is just episode 1. So.
I'm open.
I won't bring a war here. Love.
Well, all right. You're here to skate, ain't you?
So what's it gonna be?